This is Karis Alexander with Deep Truth Media. I wanted to do this podcast because I know that in my journey into heart gathering early this month, I shared with the participants from an astrological standpoint what some of the challenges we would be facing this month, simply because from an astrological standpoint, we do exist within a program. It's organic from an astrological standpoint. So it is an organic simulation in some respects. The power control force, those that presume to run this world, use astrology to manipulate human behavior. And so we are affected by the planets in the solar system. And some of the big issues this month were about how we as individuals may be coming up against our own personal purpose and mission, and that place of feeling really absolute about what we will and won't do, and really taking a stand around people and work relationships, primarily business relationships, work relationships, relationships with other institutions that we may be engaged with, and really taking a stand on what we feel is right, and really holding firm in terms of negotiation, or in terms of doing work that is more in line with who we are. And so, in these podcasts that I share here, it's just simply a sharing, and what I'm doing is really looking at things from a different perspective. We are, in fact, here when I share, I'm sharing from the perspective of someone who is hacking the matrix, hacking the system that has been imposed upon us, so that those of you that listen here get a different perspective, because the perspective that you're given on the physical world stage is really stems from your conditioning and your belief systems, and it is an outright and utter lie. The power control force, those that presume to run this world, as I reflect on who and what they are the lowest of the lowest of who we are as consciousness, conscious beings. At the highest level of who and what we are, humanity is simply captured, a portion of it, of its consciousness is simply captured in the five sense personality aspect, living out the lowest level of its potential existence on this physical plane. And that when you come to know yourself at the highest level, you are a creator being, you are a god, you are a spark of creation. And at the highest level of who and what you are, you don't exist with the conditioning. You do not exist with belief systems. You do not adhere to belief systems. You do not adhere to any type of conditioning. You are an eternal being. You, like I said, are a god. You don't operate at the level in which we are operating with on this level, on this earth plane. We respect one another. We honor one another. We don't have to lie to one another. We don't have to manipulate one another at the highest level of who and what we are. So remember, just a reminder that until you know the truth of who and what you are, that the level of existence that you're experiencing of yourself, the personality aspect of you, is the lowest level of who and what you are. And at the highest level of who and what you are, you operate completely different. And so that's what we are. For those of us who are moving out of the mind construct and into the heart, what we are doing is bringing the highest aspect of who and what we are into physical form, into the physical realm, and we are correcting our existence here. We are refining who and what we are, and as we do that, we become more aware of what is the truth, and we each carry a frequency that allows us to create heaven on earth. And that may be different for different people. But if we look at the term heaven, heaven is a term that defines three key concepts in one. Firstly, the existence of a supernatural dimension beyond the physical world. Secondly, a specific subsegment of this supernatural dimension in which beings exist in a state of harmony and paradise. And thirdly, a state of being of physical existence in harmony with others and nature, equivalent to paradise. So heaven on earth is implying a place where men and women coexist in peace with others, with other life and nature in a state of harmony and paradise. That's the ultimate of what we are to create here on this earth plane. And as you all can certainly understand, we are moving in a de-evolutionary process. And so this whole idea of creating a place where men and women coexist in peace with one another, life and nature in a state of harmony and paradise, that is the ultimate goal. That can only happen when we come to know the truth of who and what we are. So most of humanity is in a state of amnesia. We are in a de-evolutionary process, which is simply happening because we are captured. A portion of our consciousness is simply captured by the power control force, those that presume to run this world, who exist and coexist at a very low level of consciousness. And so they are, that aspect of who and what they are is moving at a de-evolutionary process. That is the only way that they can keep their system intact. So we are, in fact, for those of us that are waking up, those of you that are listening to this podcast, are really interested in how we can move to a more correct place of evolving ourselves to the next level of consciousness. That is the opportunity here. Life is a dream, and this dream has rules. And I've talked about this before. And this particular dream, again, is simply captured, and we are living through an artificial simulation that is embedded within a organic simulation. So the artificial simulation has all these false flags, has all these storylines that are complete and utter lies. And so we got one program on top of another program on top of another program. It's just all these programs embedded within another program. There's just one program on top of another on top of another. There's layers and layers and layers of programs. There's so many layers of programming going on, that on the surface level, what you are experiencing is just surface level experience. Those that presume to run this world are giving you or feeding you a storyline that has been playing out for the past 100 years, that on the surface you may be trying to hack through and understand at a deeper level. But that, what you're trying to understand on the surface level, it goes even beyond that, right? So you have to understand too that because of the design of this matrix, the power control force, they are simulating your awakening. They want you to awaken, but only at the rate in which they are, or at the speed, at the rate, or in the way in which they want you to wake up. There is a program within this program for awakening. There is a program within this program for those who are healers, who are here to support the shift and the evolution of human consciousness. That is a program in itself. And that is something that I've been struggling with. You know, that is the role that I play as healer. I'm hacking the system. I'm a healer. And so I am running a program myself, you know, that I have this capacity to speak on these issues that I feel that I can potentially share with you. I'm running a program as well as a healer. And so I struggle with this past month in terms of my role and my work with how to best be of service and supporting humanity. And a part of me is like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to put myself out there in a world where people are just so erratic, so disrespectful, so willful, and really tyrants or are against what it is that I have to share. Like, why would I put myself in harm's way? And so a part of me is like wanting to retreat back and not help at this particular time, because it's almost like, you know, when you like, it's like humanity is like the grizzly bear. Grizzly bears are unpredictable, right? So humanity is if I look at the grizzly bear scenario, it's like when you see a grizzly bear, you don't go up to a grizzly bear, like, right? You know that would be dangerous, that you would be putting yourself in harm's way. And so I look at humanity like the grizzly bear. You know, it's like a lot of humanity is so unevolved. They are so caught in their conditioning and the program in which they are embedded in, that for someone like myself who's got this high level of awareness and knows who and what I am, why would I, you know, it's like I look at humanity like the grizzly bear. It's like, why would I put myself in harm's way? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm sort of becoming cautious about who I'm going to be working with, you know, how I want to be putting myself out there in the world, because, you know, even this whole idea of sharing at this level, I'm exposing myself. I'm letting the power control force know what it is that I know and how I'm going about sharing. I mean, that's just, does that make sense too? I mean, am I just setting myself up to eventually be picked out as someone that is against the system, that is, you know what I mean? So it's you have to be really careful, you know? And so it's like, I don't want to be under the radar. I want to be off the radar. I want to be, you know, working my magic, working this through, not in the throes of everything that's going on in this world, but, you know, incognito. You know, that's how you have to be. You have to be incognito, and you have to be like a chameleon. And there is a serious war. The war is on consciousness, on the consciousness that is you. And so, you know, I love the grizzly bear scenario. And that's where I really wanted to share here, is because, yeah, humanity's like the grizzly bear as far as I'm concerned. And when I see a grizzly bear, as I do very, you know, often, I see bears in my backyard here, and I'm tentative around them. I don't go up to them, and I keep my distance. And so that's the same approach I'm going to take with humanity, is that I'm keeping my distance, and you're going to be very selective on who I work with, you know, and who I share with. I'm very, very guarded now, and will continue to be, because I'm not going to put myself out there when people don't know how to respect and honor you, you know. And so why would I put myself in harm's way? So I wanted to talk about that, and let's also talk about truth. And because when we look at these stories, these false flags that keep occurring, because they will continue to occur, they are simply just stories to keep you distracted in a storyline and embedded within a story, within stories, within stories. So what is truth? That is the fundamental issue that perplexes humanity, for sure. It is so obscured from our view, it is hidden, yet it is hidden in plain sight all the time. The matrix that we live in is dominated with that which is not true. Truth arises when we basically connect the divine source of all creation, and therefore truth can only be obtained when we know the truth of who we are. Okay? So the matrix that we live in is dominated with that which is not true. It's the system, which is that which is not true. So if you're trying to make decisions for yourself, and you're making decisions on a system which is feeding you lies and deceiving you. So truth arises when we connect with the divine only. Divine source of our all creation. That which we are. The truth can only be obtained when we know the truth of who we are. And so through this connection, truth is illuminated, and that which is not true is exposed and dissolves. Yes. I'm sharing with you, from my perspective, the truth of what I'm seeing, and we all live embedded within a sea of lies. It's so true. This is what causes so much distortion, pain, and suffering, because we live embedded within a sea of lies and deceit. We have to get down to the fundamental core of the truth, and what truth actually is, and understand it enough, because truth is intricately related to the problem of why we are experiencing suffering in our world. It is completely intermersed with this idea. Truth is essentially nothing more than that which has actually occurred in our reality. So when things occur in our reality, we perceive them as truth. But the key is that when you know that what you are perceiving in reality is simply a lie built on a number of false stories that are being perpetuated through these false flag events, then you really get to see that you are living through a lie. There's no truth to it. And you are making decisions based on what you are experiencing here. Events actually take place, they play out in our third dimensional space-time reality. That is what I'm calling the truth. Events occur. We can understand those events, for sure. And I've been sharing just very on the surface tidbits of what's been happening on the physical world stage based on what I feel is relevant at the particular time. I'm just focusing on the main events that are happening anyway. And so, the idea here is that you have to become very selective on who you're connecting with and how you are going to prepare yourself and take care of yourself through these difficult, challenging times that are ensuing on this earth plane. It's very interesting. It's a very tricky time. And you're going to need to make adjustments and changes in your life that you never, ever potentially thought you would have to make. And yet, the system is designed to make you acquiesce, give up your rights, to become lazy, to feel a sense of helplessness. I mean, the system is designed to make you feel apathetic. The system is really designed to keep you locked down into a low vibration of consciousness, never ever allowing you to experience the truth and the glory of who and what you are, so that they can continue to facilitate their dark and sinister program. And that's the nature of this game. The nature of this game is to keep you so asleep that you will never want to wake up. I mean, it is not easy to wake up, and a very, 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 very small percentage of people will wake up, and especially in your lifetime. So the question becomes, are you going to make the adjustments and make the changes? Are you going to heed the call? There's a clarion call. The clarion call is very loud. Are you going to heed the clarion call and get into your right mind, your right position, into fulfilling your purpose and mission here? I mean, you really have to take this so seriously and take matters into your own hands. And it's an inside job. You cannot change the external reflective. And so I'm going to close out with this in saying that you are the truth. The truth resides within you. And it is your work. It is your decision and your work as to whether you're going to continue to acquiesce to the lies within the system, to the lies within this program? Or are you going to wake up and reclaim your divine right to know the truth of who and what you are, live out your life purpose, and support humanity to evolve and create heaven on earth? That's the opportunity now. But I'm telling you, you're really going to have to take some serious steps in order to make some significant and challenging changes in your life to make this happen. No one, absolutely no one, can do this for you. No one can do this for you. Only you can make the changes necessary to evolve yourself. So I'll leave you with that. It does take someone who is an evolved spirit, an adult who wants to be an adult, who wants to reclaim their right to be free and sovereign, to be the authority in one's life. That is your right. That's where we are moving. We're moving from dependency to authority. We're moving from a background frequency of dependency on a system which is an old model that only allows us to experience ourselves through the concept of the mind. And we are moving into the concept of experiencing ourselves through the physical vehicle, the body construct, and using the mind as a tool. Instead of using the mind as your decision-making mechanism, you use the body now. The body becomes the vehicle in which you use the mind to support you, not the other way around. And so this is truly a time of transformation, healing, and change. The external reflective, the power control force, they're not going to tell you how to do this. That's why we have to help one another if we so choose to do so. The power control force is not going to tell you and show you how to reach your ascension. You have to find that out yourself. That's the puzzle. That's the nature of this game. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye.